The Wonderful World of Darklords, Report 13, Nottingham. I did not look forward to visiting the town of Nottingham with any particular enthusiasm. I had heard rumors about Prince John's rapacious taxation and the poverty and desperation that resulted. It disgusted me in the Pride Lands, and it disgusts me here. I had seen its like before. Sherwood Forest was another matter. Having just come from the Queenswood, I was no stranger to dark and forbidding forests, but Sherwood's threats were more mundane, if perhaps even deadlier. Every caravan I saw was armed and guarded as if for war, and one soldier, after ensuring that I did not howl at the touch of silver, insisted that I travel with them for my own safety. I agreed, and soon saw why the group was so cautious. A mile down the road, we found bodies draped over the trees, or what was left of them, for they had largely been devoured. Around their necks were signs reading "Collaborator," and arrows were arranged at the bases of the trees, almost like offerings. Prince John may be the regent in name, but it is the outlaws of Sherwood who truly rule this land. The Lord. I have met a tremendous variety of rulers over the past years, from the dark majesty of Maleficent to the preening boorishness of Gaston, but I have never seen one quite like Prince John. Even the literal spoiled child king of Neverland cuts a more impressive figure than Nottingham's pathetic regent. Incredible as he is inept, Prince John taxes the people mercilessly to support his lavish lifestyle, yet cannot command their respect, obedience, or even fear. An interminable audience with him proved him to be craven, vain, petulant. In short, most of the negative qualities I have encountered over the past year, with none of the grandeur. Apparently, his elder brother Richard left Nottingham some years ago to fight a war, and Prince John seized power in his place. He demands to be recognized as the rightful king, but few will even go so far as to grant him the title of regent in any but the most formal settings. Should anyone mention King Richard in Prince John's presence, they will experience a fit of pique that seems more befitting of a nursery than a throne room. That being said, I was frankly shocked by the level of open contempt that the people of Nottingham showed for Prince John. They mock him in the streets, singing songs and performing plays about his foolishness and cowardice. Apparently, Prince John expected this disrespect to abate when he killed the folk hero Robin Hood, but it only worsened. Particularly since Robin Hood's body was never found, leading to the popular tale that Prince John fabricated his death to burnish his own self-image. For his part, Prince John seems to have no idea how to retaliate beyond imposing heavier and heavier taxes, sending those who default to debtor's prison. I have no idea what he intends to do when the people have no more money to pay. Even Prince John's own ostensible supporters mock him behind his back, from the sheriff to the lowliest of the town guards. The soldier who invited me to join the caravan performed a painfully accurate impression of the prince, to the delight of his fellows. I kept waiting for him to show the slightest sign of fear that he would be overheard, or for one of the other soldiers to defend the regent's worthiness, but nothing of the sort happened. I finally asked why, if he were so wretched, they bothered to follow him, and was answered only with genial laughter and a few comments about the pay. My eldritch sight suggested they were under some sort of charm. A pity for Prince John that it seemed to grant only the basest form of loyalty. The land. While the people have no love, respect, or fear for Prince John, they have an abundance of all three for the followers of the vanished Robin Hood. These outlaws, who call themselves the Merry Men, were supposedly defenders and protectors of the people when Robin was leading them, robbing from Prince John and his cronies to return their taxes to the poor. While the Merry Men still do some of this, they also make it their mission to root out collaborators, and their definition of the word grows looser by the day. The Merry Men make their home in Sherwood Forest, and the Sheriff of Nottingham has been unable to find their encampment. Multiple forays into the forest have ended with his men butchered. The lucky ones were punctured by countless arrows, slaughtered without ever catching a glimpse of their attackers through the foliage. The less fortunate ones, well, the corpses I saw on the road, savaged by massive teeth, are not an unusual sight. From the wild tales of beastmen in the forest, I concluded that at least some of the Merry Men have contracted lycanthropy since Robin's death. Were Prince John's enemies confined to the forest, he would have trouble enough. His own oppressive taxes and heavy-handed reprisals, however, have ensured that Nottingham teems with the Merry Men's sympathizers. I heard multiple tales of soldiers, tax collectors, or even palace servants murdered by the mob in broad daylight, and rumors of townsfolk deliberately infecting themselves with lycanthropy to prove their loyalty and serve the cause more effectively. In response, the terrified Prince John can do nothing but hire more soldiers, and raise the taxes ever higher in order that he might pay them well enough to ensure their loyalty. There is one final tangible sign of the people's true loyalties, a growing cult that has sprung up around the memory of Robin Hood. The arrangement of arrows at the bases of the trees were not left behind in haste or as a threat. They were an offering. There are constant whispers that Robin Hood was a powerful archfey or nature god whom Prince John failed to kill because he could not die. This folk religion is, of course, illegal, but that does not prevent the people from leaving offerings, carving graffiti, or carrying arrow or leaf tokens beside their hearts. Parting thoughts. I entered Nottingham believing that anyone who stood against the despicable regent would be worthy of respect and admiration, but left convinced that Prince John and the Merry Men deserved one another. Perhaps in the days of Robin Hood, things were different. Today, however, Robin Hood is a myth, and his followers are desecrating his legacy as surely as Prince John is desecrating Richard's. I am making a brief stop to resupply before the next leg of my journey, and I'm writing this report from a combined inn and foundling home called Sunnyside. All I can conclude is this: Prince John is a sad, strange little man, and he has my pity. Regards, D.
Fascinating how this worthless Prince John makes even the taxes of Gundarak seem reasonable, and Vlad Drakov's conquests respectable. An occupier is nothing more than one who warms an oversized throne, while the uncomfortable weight of a borrowed crown forever slips off their brow. An occupier who is as craven as they are weak, and uses their position to support a gluttonous lifestyle, is not only a direct insult to the people they are responsible for, but, more importantly, the true ruler of the land. Since John is incapable of maintaining obedience without bribery, his reign will only last as long as the royal treasury. A treasury I highly suspect is enchanted or cursed, as even gold will only inspire the bare minimum of loyalty to those that clearly are undeserving and unfit to lead. It is commendable that my little scholar attempted to survey Sherwood Forest, despite the apparent dangers within. The information provided is intriguing. What I know of Robin Hood's history, employing such tactics of trickery and illusion would amuse him greatly, yet I doubt this particular outlaw would look favorably upon the savagery also employed by these so-called merry men. If the entity responsible for these boons is Robin Hood, then his spirit has been corrupted, not an uncommon occurrence for the dead that linger within these lands.
This has been The Wonderful World of Darklords. We have no affiliation with Disney or Wizards of the Coast. All music recordings used in this episode are in the public domain and were obtained through museopen.org. Titles and links are in the show notes. Dialogue for Yensid was written by Aslan Rex himself, who you can follow on Tumblr at DarklordAslan. The Wonderful World of Darklords logo was designed by Haylight Jones. You can find links to their work in the show notes. If you'd like to support the show, look for us on patreon.com or find our tip jar on Red Circle. Thanks for listening.